There is one thing of note here today. That is that chair of the House Oversight, minority chair of the House Oversight Committee, Representative Jerry Connolly is stepping away because the cancer that he was diagnosed with 6 months ago when he got the job has come back. It has returned. So he's stepping away from his duties as the House Oversight Chair for the Democratic Party. And you'll remember that this was the plum assignment that AOC was campaigning for. So, well, boys, what do we think? Is AOC getting the oversight chair now that Jerry Connolly is, the inevitable seems to be taking its course?
Well, I mean, let's not act like anyone could have predicted this. I actually hear he's healthy. I mean, we all got scared earlier this year when there were those pictures of Jerry Connolly leaving Camila Cabello's house, and he looked like he was using again. But he's been like good since then, and a lot of people actually think this is the family, and they're trying to pressure him into retiring so he'll do residencies and they can steal from him again. It's a really sad story.
They said he had Havana syndrome because he was all fucked up over Camila Cabello. That's what they said.
I'm saying Jerry Connolly is a 160-year-old father, needs to let him out of that conservatorship right now.
I hate how they shade him whenever he posts skin on his private IG.
Yeah, you made the decision to follow that. You had to request it. So you're kind of weird.
The thing of it, why step down? What is the difference?
Right?
Yeah, there was that woman who was in a nursing home in Texas, and she was still in Congress. She was just in the dementia ward of a nursing home, and her staff didn't tell anybody. And she just didn't show up to votes for a year. And then someone eventually spilled the beans and said, yeah, she doesn't know her own name. She's in a nursing home. We just brought her over there and didn't tell anybody. I don't know. You can just do whatever. It doesn't matter.
So the rationale for Jerry Connolly is well, yeah, now he has to step down because he's dying. What was he doing before? I don't get that. This is, I think this was a mean joke my dad told. There was a guy who he knew who retired from his job when he was 80. And my dad was who, just die. Yeah, just it's not you have time to waste. Yeah, just die at work.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when they gave him the chair of the oversight committee, and people thought it was going to be AOC because she had been such a loyal soldier, and that she has some energy and excitement, and the youthful vigor of someone who's not 80 years old and dying of cancer. But the argument was that it's Jerry's turn. He's waited his whole career. He's waited his whole life, and now he has cancer. Yeah, he's going to be dead in a couple months. But it's basically congressional Democrats run their caucus like a Make-A-Wish program.
I mean, honestly, I never heard an affirmative defense of it. The it's his turn thing. That's something that me and Josh talked about because it's the only reason that you could think of for this, because just Democrats love that rationale for everything. That it's the seniority rule that being a Democrat is just it is being an archon. It is this service you do to the world. And the longer you do it, the more entitled you are. Because I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Did you ever see any libs affirmatively be no, this is why it's good for the job? Because the only thing that I ever got was people being it's mean to say he's a ghost of a guy who killed himself.
Yeah, I saw not so much affirmative defenses of him in that position, but I saw people being it's rude to jump in line, and that's what AOC would be doing.
Yeah. I guess it's
she's sort of would be up jumped, it's improper, or it's a violation of the expectations of a guy who's served dutifully for 90 years. Him and Robert Byrd came up together. They were next up out of the. So,
and if we don't give people those rewards, people aren't going to be motivated to stay in Congress for 60 years. And that's something we really want. We want people staying in Congress until they're in their 80s.
Think about how loyal Jerry Connolly is. Like when he got in there, it was like Birth of a Nation, Woodrow Wilson. They were having a lot of fun. And by the time he was like 130, they were like, you have to wear this kente cloth. And he was like, okay, I'm a Democrat. It meant one thing in 1912 means one thing now.
I guess I bring this up slightly selfishly because a clip of an interview I did from like several months ago was resurfaced by the account Post Left Watch.
We need to differentiate the political program from whatever AOC is doing with this, like,
but
bodies.
Like,
and
recently, like, what she just lost her like oversight committee bid to head up that committee to a guy who's like 75 and has cancer, and I just see that and I think, good. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Because, like, I mean, this is what you wanted. This is what you wanted. So, like, I mean, and, yeah, it was her on stage at the DNC saying they're working tirelessly for a ceasefire.
Give me a fucking break.
That to me was like that.
To share, when I shared my thoughts, that I thought it was good that AOC got passed over for that because, I mean, I think it's instructive as to, like who do you think you're bargaining with? Like, you'll get nothing and like it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, why did you defend Biden?
Yeah.
What was the point of that?
Well, I mean,
he's not even there anymore to give you anything.
God, that was so weird. Do you remember that week when it was like clear that everyone in the party was like, yeah, he threw up on me. Like I saw him die today. And AOC and Bernie were like, he's the most liberal guy ever. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, like they were so afraid of him. And then a week later, he steps down.
I know what the calculation was. It was like, oh, if they say Biden has to go, he'll be obstinate, and then the Democrats will blame them. Oh, yeah, that's never fucking happened.
Well, I mean, in the clip that was shared, like I said this in the context of her co-signing a particularly murderous lie that the Biden-Harris administration was, quote, working tirelessly for a ceasefire in Gaza, which, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Dropsite, our friends at Dropsite summarized a big investigative piece by the Israeli news channel 13, which contains this quote from former Israeli ambassador Michael Herzog. God did the state of Israel a favor that Biden was the president during this period. We fought in Gaza for over a year and the administration never came to us and said, ceasefire now. It never did. And that's not to be taken for granted. So, I mean, look, like this won't be news to anyone who listens to this show, but like in the context of AOC, putting her credibility and that of her supporters behind that on stage at the DNC, like I think one should ask the question, if you think that like she's only doing the best job she can within a rigged political system, what she got and by extension you and her constituents got in return for supporting Biden and that particularly murderous evil lie about working tirelessly for a ceasefire when it should be well beyond any shadow of a doubt that they were doing no such thing.
Yeah, and it's like that. There's no fucking defense for that, because if she actually believed that, it is like, okay, then either they tell you nothing, which means like, what were you going to get out of this if you fucking sold out this comprehensively and she won? Or like you knew that this was complete bullshit. That you said this because you knew of the like liability that the Biden and Harris Israel strategy was with younger voters, and you thought this would be a fig leaf to them. Either is just like, okay, you have fucking no business doing this.
And, and people were, of course, perpetually mad at me for this, and that's fine. But like, I guess like, I'd like to say, like, for the context of what I said, like, if it seems like I'm being too hard on AOC, it's because she's closer to my political point of view. She's someone in power who is closer to my political point of view than, let's say, Chuck Schumer is. So it's like, it's because of that I find it so especially galling that she would lend whatever credibility she has to like this, like I said, a murderous and evil lie, or is just simply too stupid to have the job. So it's like, yeah, I do hold her to a higher standard than I do Chuck Schumer or John Fetterman. And it's because like it's like, if anything, like I'm not singling her out because like I hate her because for some, I don't know, some vague opaque reason. Like I'm singling her out because she singled herself out as like, the most prominent young voice in politics in this country that like I said, like on balance, like go down the list of the things she supports or the things she stands for is closer to what I believe in than any other Democrat. But it's like because of that I'm going to demand that she explain herself on this issue before any future support going forward.
Also, I mean, to that end, what is this strategy of like every few years we're going to go out there and say there needs to be a new type of Democratic Party where we care about working issues, and then one way or another they get screwed, they lose, whatever. They're not able to actually exert any influence on the Democratic Party because they will not meaningfully challenge it. Seemingly, then we'll get 4 years of like whatever shitty Democrat, and we'll just do this over and over and over again. At what point does that do? Can you look at that and go, okay, this is worth it? I mean, the counter argument, right, is always left wing people are fucking allergic to power. Would you call this power? Would you call this anything?
Yeah, and like the follow up to that is power to do what? Like, I mean, if AOC has power but uses that power to lie about what the Biden administration is doing to Gaza, then like I don't think that's power. I think that's power that should be critiqued rather than celebrated, or simply like look the other way.
Yeah, the only way you can accomplish things is by mimicking what the establishment is doing, and doing it with their permission. What's the point then?
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is like I've said that the last time we talked about this, like I think Bernie has like said the more disgraceful fucking things, like on a moral level between the two in the past like 5 years, especially on Israel. But I think that the read of AOC, that she is like a cynical operator, I actually fucking wish that was true. Because if she was totally cynical and like completely just out for herself, she would at some point realize that there is more to be gained just on an objective level between like, I don't know, this is between playing Russian roulette with like 2 bullets in the gun versus playing Russian roulette with a semi-auto.
Yeah.
She would get more out of actually challenging the Democratic Party as an oppositional figure to it than doing this shit just forever, I guess.
Which is, which is to like take her credibility among a youthful progressive constituency and using it to just be like, get on board. Everyone get on board. Biden's our guy, or Kamala's great, and they're working tirelessly to end the war in Gaza. Mm-hmm. That's having power, I suppose.